All right, folks. Hi, everybody. Very good afternoon. Welcome to this RC session wherein we'll discuss some not so well known, little lesser known, seldom discussed techniques of reading comprehension. Now, these techniques, after many months of practice, obviously you will uh, understand, you will realize those techniques, but you will realize it after many months of hard work. So my job um, is to sort of sort of remind you or make you realize, or to sort of suggest you that these techniques exist, and probably you are using these techniques, you are thinking about these techniques, you are already applying some of them, if not completely, then partially. So my job is to act as an conductor of and to sort of give that, pass on that spark of ideas, basically, uh, and of course to convince you, to propel you, to keep you motivated enough to, so that you solve few questions every day, or one or two askings every day you solve. So that is the agenda, that is a game, that is a plan here. And my name is Anupam, responsible for more than 3,200 hours of CAT training in more than 3,700 candidates for CAT, and fill up a lot of verbal ability questions for many clients. Some of them are very prestigious: GMAC, Delhi Police, Pyramid, and a lot of government organizations, and reviewed questions prepared by other SMEs. Uh, Gave them feedback, brought a lot of improvements to at least 10,000 questions, created around 1,000 questions. So that much of work I've done. So on Unacademy, what is special about Unacademy? Because we have been able to bring, divide this disparity of the quality of education. Since we are free live on YouTube twice a day or 5 days a week, we are providing same education to son of a very wealthy man, or a daughter of a very wealthy mother of or a father, and we're also providing a similar education to a daughter or a son or a boy or a girl of a poor peasant. So in that way, we have bulldozed those walls of, of rich and poor. So we have sort of went past that, but at the same time, and also on our free app also, which we look at the free app. The app has a lot of free features, which is like you will be getting option to take part in special classes, to ask questions there, to take part in quizzes. There is one national is scholarship test also happens. So that is also very important, that you take part in the national is scholarship test. And so yes, apart from that, I recommend you people. So when this is where the free things ends. What paid thing comes up is that, and why it is important, that if you will not pay, you will only get these classes, free classes, and plus you get these free live classes and this Telegram group access, and I will be also giving you uh, uh, individual plans. Uh, you know, then then these YouTube classes are there. You can join the live chats. You can discuss But you will not be getting mock test, topic wise test, sectional test. Okay? So for all that stuff, it is extremely important to subscribe to Unacademy. These are the other certain numbers in front of you. For 6 months, it is 14,000 for 6 months. After discount, it will come to 2,333 for 12 months. It is 2,750 and 18,900 after using the code Saxena Live as a discount. So yes, utilize this. The pricing is most appropriate. We'll be helping you not only for CAT, we'll be helping you for SAT and GRE, GMAT, IFT and MAT. We'll be also helping you for your GDPI. So yeah, my point is that I think if you're not happy with the platform wherever you are reading, or the platform, whichever platform you are using, whichever organizations, test prep companies, test prep you have taken, I think it is if you're not happy with that, I think it's important to try out Unacademy and the kind of offerings which we have. We've got thousands of questions. Okay, see, reading comprehension, what is the key thing? The key thing is to understand the key points. And how can we do that? We can do it by simply understanding the primary purpose of paragraphs, or if the paragraph is very long, we divide a paragraph into smaller parts and understand and tell to ourselves the primary purpose of these parts and smaller parts of paragraph. It says I use a smartphone GPS to find my way through the cobblestoned maze of Geneva's old town in search of a handmade machine that changed the world more than any other invention. To say that there was one, so it says that the GPS, smartphone GPS, through a maze of Geneva's old town in search of a handmade machine. So GPS to look for what? A handmade machine that changed the world more than any other invention. Maze, what is cobblestone maze? Cobblestone maze they're these architectural marvels, or they can be made through garden hedges also. So they are made in a way that every lane, every turn, every street, every path looks exactly same. So it is used as a technique to sort of hinder the enemy's advance, or to save the royal palace. If the enemy has reached inside the palace, then the maze will sort of keep the enemy confused and give those golden moments to run away. So it's that technique. Here they mean that because in the old town, all the streets and all the places look similar, so that way. Okay. So now we understand my first paragraph also. It is going to talk about a machine, a handmade machine that did something marvelous, which helped achieve some amazing, marvelous feats. Near a 13th century cathedral in the Swiss city on the shores of a lovely lake, I found what I was looking for: a Gutenberg printing press. So it says that near a 13th century cathedral in this Swiss city, there was what he was looking for: a Gutenberg press. He was looking for a Gutenberg printing press. So Gutenberg printing press was the first printing press. Like, it's the first printing press, which there must have been other forms of it, but in this way it was never used. Basically, this was the internet of its day. at least as influential as iPhone, said Gabriel, the director of the Museum of Reformation, toying with a replica of Johann Gutenberg's great invention. Okay, it used to take 4 months up to a year to produce a single book. With advance in the movable type in 15th century, one press could crank out 3,000 pages a day. Before long, average people could travel to places that used to be unknown to them with maps. Medical information passed more freely and quickly, diminishing the way of quacks. The printing press offered the prospect that tyrant would never be able to kill a book or suppress an idea. Gutenberg's brainchild broke the monopoly that clerics had on scripture. Later, stirred by pamphlets from a version of that same press, the American colonies rose up against a king and gave birth to a nation. What is happening in this paragraph? What is the purpose of this paragraph? The purpose of this paragraph is to highlight the change brought, the revolution brought by a single invention. How important it was that it's being compared to the internets of its day and iPhone. This is where the comparison. This is a kind of analogy which is being said, that there are parallels being drawn between this Gutenberg press and internet. So this sort of a parallel, and this is a level, and what all has happened? Maps, religion, medical science, and then they spoke about what? They spoke about democracy here. That the idea of democracy, the idea of liberty, the idea of of equal justice and equal freedom and voice of the people, that all came up, and they sort of so what they're referring to? They're referring to in this last two lines to the American War of Independence. When the British colonies in the US, which was not known as US, it was known as a New World, or the New England, that they rose and they said that we will not listen to the king of the Great Britain, and they revolted. So question: in the 10th anniversary of iPhone of the iPhone, has the device that is perhaps the most revolutionary of all time given a single magnificent video? They're saying that now what they're saying, that now that 10 years have passed by, when the iPhone came out, has something very concrete happened here. Has single amazing magnificent world order changing, ऐसा कुछ तूफानी something has happened or not? This is what this question is asking. Nearly every advancement of the written world through new technology has also advanced human. So they are saying that the new technology has made an improvement in the lives of people. There's some advancement of humankind has happened. Sure, you can say that iPhone changed everything. Putting words, recorded knowledge in the palm of hand, it revolutionized world, dining, travel, and socializing. It made us more narcissistic. What is narcissistic? People having a lot of self-love. When people adore, when a person adores himself or herself a lot, there's a lot of self-love, self-pride, basically. Very selfish. Here is more of me doing cool stuff, and it unleashed an army of. So what is saying that some good things have happened, but now it is also showing about some certain things which which the tone which is using is not good. Narcissistic. Narcissism doesn't mean confidence, it means extreme self-love. An army of awful trolls. We no longer have the patience to sit through a basketball game without the reach to the pocket. And one more casualty of the Apple selling more than 1 billion phones in a decade's time, daydreaming has become a lost art. So they're saying that daydreaming, that this ability to simply do nothing, because we have gotten this habit of reaching out for a phone. So it is given, say, one or two, say, couple of good points also, but then it goes on to talk about certain negative things also about the iPhone. Okay. Should we try and solve questions based on this? We have a half of the this left and one more paragraph left. Let's try and solve few questions. Let's see if we can solve questions. Okay. So what is a summary of what is the purpose behind this particular paragraph? The purpose behind this paragraph is that although a lot of advancements have happened, there is a sort of a revolution, a change in a lot of important areas of human life, but there's some very much evident downsides also, with respect to the quality of human life basically has come down. Those things which we valued a lot, those have come down. We have become more selfish. There are awful trolls. Trolls basically the people who are sort of who abuse others, who don't agree to them, with their views, who do not completely subscribe to their views and thoughts on the internet. And then they also talk about that there's this Apple sold a billion phones and daydreaming has been lost. Right? This is what they're talking about. Let's try and solve some questions. The printing press has been likened to the internet for which one of the following reasons. So printing press has been likened to the internet for which one of the, so printing press was likened to internet for which reason? Coming back here again. Okay. It was trying to say that it used to take 4 months up to a year to produce a single book. With advance in the movable type in 15th century, one press could crank out 3,000 pages a day. And then what happened? People could get access to information with respect to say the maps, the traveling information, medical books, and printing press, and there's this with respect to the religious I can say the superstitions or the beliefs or basically the whole of the clergy on the aspect of religion that got loosened, because people could read what was written in the actual Bible or actual Gita or Quran, and they could ask and discuss questions. People could also read medical books. People knew the maps, so they could sort of get some help with respect to traveling. And people also became enlightened with respect to politics also. They became enlightened with respect to so basically what is happening, the information is spreading very fast. The information is spreading fast. The information is being spread to a lot of people, because earlier what was happening, 4 months would take up a year to produce a single book. Now what is happening, that one press could crank 3,000 pages a day. Let's look for which of the option connects. I can see some people online. I don't know who the two people are online. Can I just say hi somewhere? Please ask me questions if you have. The printing press has been likened to internet for which of the following reasons? Chalo, let's read it. Let's start from option number D. It gave people access to pamphlets and literature in several languages. No, this was nowhere mentioned. Of course, it gave people access to information, but in all languages. And that could have been also possible by handwritten. When people used to handwrite and used to write it in their hands with using their own hands, but that's the point here. It encouraged reading among people by giving them access to thousands of books. No, reading angle was never mentioned. People used to read earlier also. It presented new and revolutionary technology compared to past. This aspect was never mentioned. Okay. A rapid access to new information. Yeah, it enabled rapid access to new information and sharing of new ideas. That is the right. According to the passage, the invention of the printing press did all of the following, except they're saying that so this is one of the techniques, right? See, this is what is a technique, that sometimes if you have less time also, then just by reading one or two paragraphs or half of the RC, you can still try and solve some questions, right? This is the trick. This is what I'm trying to say, that there are a lot of things which can be improved here. Okay. Acha, read the question very properly. It says except. So to look for something which it did not do, which is said in the somewhere in the passage that it did not happen, or it says that, or that idea is never mentioned. Okay. Promoted the spread of enlightened political views among countries. Yeah, it is said here that it sort of stayed by the pamphlets from a version of that same press. The American colonies rose up against a king and gave birth to a nation. So this is because you have to look for something which has not been said or which is against the ideas mentioned. So this is doesn't fall into there. This is right. Gave people direct access to authentic medical and religious texts. This was mentioned there. Remember? Medical information passed on freely, quickly, diminishing the way of quacks. What are quacks? Quacks are the people who do not have proper medical degree or training. They just treat people without proper medical degree or training. Okay. Gave people, or they don't have knowledge also. People gave direct access to authentic medical information and religious works. This is also mentioned here. Shorten the time to produce books and pamphlets. Yeah, they have said that the time automatically, it used to take 4 months up to a year to produce a single book. D says it enabled people to perform various tasks simultaneously. Enable people to perform various tasks simultaneously. So this is what was never mentioned, and this is the answer. So to also look for the questions very properly. See, read the questions very properly. It says except. Okay. iPhone, you have yet to come. In introduction of the iPhone, Steve Jobs, you have not read it. This was, I'm waiting to see if iPhone can do what printing press did for the religion. This was also never said. Okay, let's read. Good that we could solve at least 2 questions. For all of that, I'm still waiting to see if the iPhone can do what the printing press did for religion and democracy. The Geneva Museum makes a strong case that the printing press opened more minds than anything else. It is hard to imagine. See, it says that, first of all, I'm waiting to see For all of that, I'm waiting to see if iPhone can do what printing press did for religion and democracy. It's saying that what that printing press did for what, for religion and democracy. Here, because of the pamphlets which they printed in the printing press, this idea of justice, the idea of common good, the idea of equality, okay? This idea that sort of the king is who will decide everything and people have to follow the subject and ruler mentality. This got broken away. Why? Because pamphlets were written. Okay? Were printed basically. The Geneva Museum makes a strong case that the printing press opened more minds than anything else. It is hard to imagine the French and American Revolution without those enlightened voices. So they're saying that the revolution might have never been possible if these without those people writing those texts and then those texts being printed in thousands and thousands in those printing presses. Okay, so the purpose is to highlight that printing press was very much responsible, was extremely important when it came to the political awakening, to this awakening which happened in the consciousness, in the conscience of the French and the American people, which led to the revolution and their eventual foundation of their countries. Not so long after Steve Jobs introduced his iPhone said that the bound book was probably headed for history's attic. So when Steve Jobs introduced iPhone, he said that the bound book was probably headed for history's attic. They're saying that the bound book was probably headed for history's attic, he said when he introduced iPhone. Not so fast. After a period of rapid growth in ebooks, something closer to the medium of Chaucer's volumes has made a great comeback. So they're saying that now again that it's not so yeah. Hi Rishi, hi. I'll send you this. No, क्या बोलते हैं? इस टेलीग्राम ग्रुप का लिंक Rishi, please join this link now. This Academy Just Cat link. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It says that, so this the purpose behind this paragraph is that although Steve Jobs said that when he introduced iPhone, that from henceforth the bound book, now the book, the physical book which has pages and it is a cover, whether it's hardbound or it's not hardbound, whatever the bound book, that is basically that will be an aspect which will be kept in museum. It will not be used. Not so fast. After a period of rapid growth in ebooks, something closer to the medium of Chaucer's volumes has made a great come. So they are saying that at that after the rapid growth in ebooks, people are again reading normal books. Hope is that iPhone and the internet in general was that the hope of iPhone and the internet in general was that it would free people in closed societies. So to say that the hope was that it would free people in closed societies. But the failure of the Arab Spring and the continued suppression of ideas in North Korea, China, and Iran has not borne that out. So it's saying that this is saying that the hope that iPhone and internet would play the same role which the newspaper, which the printing press played. What did printing press do? Printing press, generate awareness among people with respect to the modern free values, which resulted in the American and French Revolution. And similar thing was expected by iPhone and internet. The failure of Arab Spring and continued suppression of ideas in North Korea, Iran, and China has not borne that out. iPhone is still young. It has certainly been one of the most important, world-changing and successful products in the history, as Apple CEO Tim Cook said. But I'm not sure if the world has changed for better with iPhone, as it did with the printing press, or merely changed. So what they're saying but people were expecting that those people, those countries, and those societies which are closed, where democracy is being suppressed, where free ideas are being suppressed, those societies will be getting some sort of a relief. Will be able to enter into a revolution, or there will be some spark of democracy, or there will be some revolution, and they'll be free from the shackles of whatever problems they are facing. So this is not a political statement, but just whatever things are wrong with the society, they will sort of speak out. Basically, they will head for democracy. That has not happened thus far, and but it did with printing press. So we can say that with iPhone, there's a change has happened, but whether the change is for good or not, change for better, that cannot be. Which is, he doesn't agree with that, basically. Let's try and solve the questions here. Steve Jobs predicted one of the following with the introduction of iPhone. What was the prediction here? Prediction was that the bound book was the physical book, the handmade book, that will be the books which we read in general. These books will be bound for history. They will be sent to the history. So they're saying, let's read. Rise of religious groups in many parts of the world. This was never mentioned. Not the intent. अरे नहीं गलत क्वेश्चन पे आ गए. Sorry. Steve Jobs predicted which one of the following with the introduction of iPhone. So Steve Jobs said that the physical books, the hardbound books, the softbound books, these books will no longer be used. People would switch from reading on internet to reading on their iPhones. No, this was never mentioned. People would lose interest in historical and traditional classics. No, this was never mentioned. Reading printed books would become a thing of past. Yeah, reading printing books would become a thing of past. The production of ebooks would eventually fail. Well, this was never mentioned. That is the idea. Said no, that the bound book was probably headed for history's attic. What's an attic? Attic is nothing but it's generally a room which is on say in especially in those houses wherein there is this there's a slope in the they are not like the houses which you have in India in the plains, but they have these canopy structures at the top. You know, they are not, they have this canopy structure. तो उसमें क्या रहता है कि even if they are there are multiple stories within the house. Generally, what happens is there's a space left at this place where where this is the edges of that ceiling, of that slanted ceiling, certain space, and there they make a small room. And in that small room, generally, sometimes kids play, all that happens. But generally, it is kids can play their own these funny games, these small kids play. But sometimes they keep the waste, the things which are not used, the old books and the old say old clothes and old furniture or some old photographs or things which have not been used or which will not be used. Maybe they have some emotional value, so they're not throwing it away. Or the thing that they will be used, say on a yearly or on a bi-yearly or on a say in a decade once, or in 20, 30, 50 years it will be used. So with those thoughts are kept. So that's what attic. That the books will be headed for history's attic. It will be placed in a storeroom. Chaucer's volumes there. Chaucer is a poet basically. So. And what is the Arab Spring? Arab Spring was a failed movement in the Arab, wherein the lot of youngsters rose up in support of democracy. So I think it's mainly it started and it has its origin and didn't read any further than the Egypt. So in Egypt there was a lot of there was this sudden consciousness and the realization that the youth wanted democracy to come, but Arab Spring sort of failed. The rulers were able to sort of tone down the youngsters and whoever was looking for change by continuing their old tactics. I am still waiting to see if iPhone can do what printing press did for religion and democracy. So authors uses which one of the following to indicate his uncertainty, saying that we do see if iPhone can do what printing press did for religion and democracy. Okay. So what did author use here? Author used here it says here, for all that I'm still waiting to see if iPhone can do what printing press did for religion and democracy. Right? And then author mentions here the hope of the iPhone in general was that it would, in the last paragraph, would free people in closed societies. But the failure of Arab Spring and the continued suppression of ideas in North Korea and China has not borne out. What is it borne out? Borne out means when the facts which we thought to be true, we thought they would be true, or we had certain kind of expectation, or we assumed certain things, we assumed certain facts, and we felt that when the actual results will come out, when time will pass by, then the actual results will tally, will match to whatever expectation one had. So in that case, whatever we thought has borne out, but that did not happen. It did not borne out. Right? So the author is referring to these failures basically. Rise of religious groups in many parts of the words. No. Rise of religious groups was never mentioned. Expansion in trolling and narcissism among the users. No. Author said this in terms of the personal habits, quality of life standpoint. Continued suppression of free speech in the closed societies. Yeah, that is the thing. This is what is so different. Yeah. And then says decline in the reading habits among those who use this device. So this was also never mentioned. The author attributes the French and American revolutions to the invention of printing press because. So why did author attribute the American and French revolution to the invention of printing press? Why? Because if you come here, it said no. Later stated by the pamphlets. Maybe I should change the color here. Later stated by the pamphlets from a version of that same press. The American colonies rose up against a king and gave birth to a nation. This is what it was referring to. Abhi, they said here, the Geneva Museum makes a strong case that the printing press opened more minds than anything else. It is hard to imagine the French and the American revolution without those enlightened voices in the print. So what they're saying that those pamphlets and the writings of those people, those thoughts, those ideas, those writings were extremely important, and they could spread because of the printing press. So it enabled large number of Europeans to travel and settle in American continent. No, it was not mentioned. It is completely completely not relevant. The rapid spread of information exposed people to new ideas of freedom. Yeah, new ideas of freedom and democracy. Rapid spread of information exposed that. The rapid spread of information exposed people to new ideas on freedom and democracy. See, it encouraged religious freedom among people by destroying monopoly of religious leaders. No, this is not relevant here. We're talking about the ideas of democracy and freedom. We're not talking about religion here. It made revolutionary strategies and opinions made available revolutionary strategies and opinions to people. No. Also never mentioned. Let's come to the last question. The main conclusion of the passage is that new technology. So what is the main conclusion of the passage? That the new technology, what they're saying that iPhone, we thought that iPhone would do similar things, or the internet would do similar things that Gutenberg press could achieve. But it could not achieve. It could not bring those changes. Some changes have come, but those changes have not been for better. Because somewhere the quality of life has also. So this is the author's thoughts. They need not be your thoughts. Okay. So this is the author's thought. So it says some advantages. New technologies has some advantages, but these are outweighed by its disadvantages. This was never mentioned. not so far not proved as successful as printing press in opening people's. So it says that it is so far not proved. Yeah, this is correct. It is not proved successful in opening people's mind. Says that Geneva Museum makes a strong case that the printing press opened more minds than anything else. Hope of the iPhone and the Internet Journal was that it would free people in closed societies, but the failure of Arab Spring and continued suppression of ideas in North Korea, China, and Iran has not borne out. This is the last. This is the right answer. It has been disappointing because it changed society too rapidly. Might have, but this was not the main point. In fact, it never said this. Too rapidly ka idea never came. So it's not relevant to the question. It's also not relevant to the information given in the passage. Being more wasteful than printing press because people spend more time daydreaming or surfing. This was mentioned there in a way, but wastefulness was not mentioned, and it is not the main primary idea here. So yeah, that's about it. I don't know whether how many people are online right now. Okay, I don't know what's happening here. People are there. One person seems to be online. All right, so I think we've discussed the RC properly. Let me just close this by talking about the like I always talk about the analysis part. So say if we analyze this question, it's a good question to analyze. The main conclusion of the passage is that the new technology has some advantages, but are outweighed by disadvantages. Now, if we took this answer, then probably we ultimately got stuck with this particular paragraph here. I don't know, it has changed the world, it has brought the knowledge in the palm of the hand, it has revolutionized work, dining, traveling, and socializing, but it has made us more selfish and more self-centered, and it has taken away our innocence and its ability to daydream. But that was not the main point. There was just one idea mentioned here in this one paragraph. What was it saying? The author is saying from the very beginning, the author is saying that the impact which printing press had was tremendous, was world order altering. The entire world order changed. Here, iPhone is being compared here. So there's a comparison being happening. It is basically an argumentative RC, wherein the author has from the very beginning very distinct clear-cut bias. It has very strong views, right? So in these kind of RCs, the tone of the RC will be biased towards one side of the story. So if you see in that way, the author will be a little passionate also about whatever he or she is writing, right? This is how it is. But if you look at the main idea was, if you look at this first part, it was all about that how path-breaking, how groundbreaking, how important was this invention to what we are right now. It might have never been possible if this Gutenberg press was never invented. Then it says about this iPhone, this pros and cons, and then it goes on to say that whether iPhone can do what printing press did, and printing press opened more minds than ever. And then it goes on to say that although people said that iPhone will make reading or reading from a book a forgotten habit, that has not happened, but such things have not happened. Then it goes on to say that the idea that iPhone would do what printing press had done, that it would free people in the closed societies, what was done by the printing press in the colonies of England, in the USA, what it did for the French people. But it would do same for the Arab world. It would do same for the Iran, for North Korea and China, where democracy has yet not been is established in people, and there is no active, full-blown revolution which is happening or taking place to bring proper democracy back, or sorry, not back, but to sort of establish democracy, because in a lot of countries democracy was never there before that. I think except Iran had a sort of a democracy, but even now it's sort of a democracy, but I'm not very sure about it, about the political condition. But yeah, North Korea and China are not very democratic. So if a person is marked A, the person has, it's a main idea question. The person did not read the RC in correct context, assumed a part of the RC, the entire story, modification in preparation, understand the primary purpose, of the paragraphs, combine these ideas to form one complete single idea or purpose. Also, look for these options. See, these options are, basically also look for the wrong options. That if they're not, see this thing that society changed too rapidly, this was never mentioned. More wasteful than printing press, this was never mentioned. Some advantages, but these are outweighed by the advantage. Even this idea that it is outweighed by the advantages, this was also never mentioned. It just mentioned some advantages and some disadvantages of iPhone in one particular paragraph. But in the entire other 4 or 5 paragraphs, it was talking about something else. All right, so yeah, please keep a note of these errors. It will really help you. Thank you very much. Please, Unacademy subscription, like I've discussed, that it's really important. Gives you live classes. It gives you a possibility to interact with the educator, live polls and leaderboards, test series and analysis, and live doubt clearing sessions. It's very important because the test series are the backbone of your preparation. And use the code Saxena Live to get 10% discount. Thank you very much. Also, you also get a lot of free classes and free special classes and free quizzes on the app. Please utilize it. I don't know what's wrong with this.